Hey there everyone, and welcome to another Factorio Mod Spotlight. I'm Exterminator, and thank you so much for joining me today. I do know that the Spotlight is unfortunately quite a few days late. I had some stuff come up this week and I couldn't get to it until now, but I'm very excited for it. I did find this mod. It's about 2 weeks old, but super interesting in my opinion. It is a combat mod, and it is the melee weapons mod. So basically, as you would very rightly guess from the name, it adds melee weapons. Now you might be thinking, we have all these ranged weapons and guns. Why would we want this? Well, these actually appear to be quite powerful, and there's a huge variety of them. And I feel like there could be some fun and just it could be interesting, like plowing through biters and biter bases just with melee weapons, just kind of being like a total beast. So there's a ton of stuff to go over here. I'm not going to demonstrate every one of them. I'm just going to demonstrate like 2 tiers of them. If you go to the mod portal page, there is some like charts the dev has made on like the actual stats of them, and you can try all of them out for yourself. But it adds 8 types of melee weapons that can be made from iron, steel, and uranium. The difference between iron, steel, and uranium is just like the level of them. So there's like all 8 in iron, all 8 in steel, and all 8 in uranium, and then like each tier is just better than the previous. And then there's also 4 arms you can craft that basically act. So basically, how it works is the arms act as like your technical weapon, I guess, and then the weapons act as an ammunition for it, kind of. So I've put some arms here, and the arms kind of can just modify how you handle these and how good they are. So from left to right, we have basic melee arms, which have a range of 1 and a shooting speed of 1. And there is more stats again. There's more stats like on the mod portal page. And then the next level up here, the mechanical arm has a higher range and a higher shooting speed and bonus damage and ammo consumption modifier. And then we go up from there, and then the spider melee arms are super good in that regard. Now there is some drawbacks and pros to each of these. So like looking at the chart here, the spider melee arms by far have the lowest cooldown. They actually do not have the highest damage, but they do have the lowest cooldown, which means theoretically they should kind of move through things faster. And then all of our weapons. So we have the cestus, a knife, a mace, a spear, a sword, a great sword, a maul, and then a pike. So these aren't quite in order. And again, they all have pros and cons. Some have a lower cooldown, some have a higher range, some have more damage. So what I've chose is the iron spear in my one section here. So this has a range modifier of 175%, shooting speed modifier, and then it does physical damage. So it has 5 plus 15 physical, and then 25 plus 75 piercing. And then my other hand here, I have the uranium maul, which does the most damage and has one of the lowest cooldowns. So it does 300 piercing power, damage 4 times 60 plus 180 physical, and a ton of ammo. So I have 2 different bases set up here. I have this one, which is very basic stuff, essentially. So if we run up, and you can see I'm kind of just mowing through them, essentially. So it is technically, I guess, a melee weapon, despite it like actually seeming like a gun, and it can shoot things. So that's interesting. Okay, no, it is actually just like actually, that's really cool. That's like a visual thing. So it has like a little range, and you can see it using most of my ammo. Now, keep in mind, I do have max upgrades for all this, and there is technology that goes along with this. So it kind of just like obliterated those. In fact, I could probably just use this and just kind of plow through all of these others as well. But I'm going to go ahead and use this, and you can see it changes, and I mean, this just kind of absolutely destroys everything. But it is a short range, of course. So, you do have to be within range to do this. So you do have to get up close and personal. But I think this could be fun, especially if there's like huge waves and you have these like max upgrades. I think it would be really entertaining to just kind of walk through the waves and just melt them as you go through. I think this is just a really interesting, different set of combat weapons and mechanics that come with it. Cost-wise, I mean, they're not cheap. Like this uranium maul, yeah, that's 100 uranium, 15 loads in these structures, some steel plastic, even this iron spear. I mean, this is super early game, of course, and you wouldn't have all these upgrades, but you know it's fairly cheap. Each one of these has different costs and pros and cons, as I mentioned. All that is listed on the tables on the mod page. But really, really unique type of combat thing that I think is pretty cool. And then again, in terms of the upgrades, we do have melee weapon damage, which is infinite if you want to get crazy with it. And then there is like researches for all of this. So there's the steel research for steel, research for iron, and research for uranium ones. It just kind of unlocks everything, and then the arms have their own. So to even get the spider arms, you need to have 25 each science pack, 2,500. So it's like not cheap, as you can see. And then melee weapon damage, you can see there. And then uranium, again, very expensive. So it is strong, but you do have to put in some, you know, effort and cost to get it. And then lastly, in terms of settings, we have just ones in startup, enable recipe ingredients, cleanup. So this is from the Bob's Functions Library mod, which is required for this mod to work. It's just kind of like a background mod you need for it. I just left all this default. But in terms of the actual mod, no settings. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions or thoughts, leave them below. Also, I just realized this could be really fun for clearing trees too before you get bots, so that's another option as well. But if you do have questions, leave them below. There's a link in the video description, as always, to the mod portal page where you can check this out, again, where that table is with a little more info. And if you enjoyed, a like is appreciated. If you're new, welcome, and feel free to subscribe. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you all, and do take care.